Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Blades of Avernum. Last episode we went into the Cathedral of Winds here in order to do a little bit of exploration and find out exactly what our quest is. Turns out they have a bit of a ghost problem in the Catacombs. They couldn't really deal with it themselves, so they sent for adventurers. Well, we're here. Let's go down into the Catacombs and see what we can do. Yes, descend. As you descend into the cathedral's catacombs for the first time, a cold wind swirls around you. You're starting to get used to these freak gusts, but they're still a bit unnerving. Unsurprisingly, the catacombs aren't lit very well. In this room, the room is illuminated by a lone brazier sitting in the corner. Every so often, it sputters. Well, we have light. Well, they've got torches here, not that we can use them. This tombstone is blank. It's probably a spare. This young priest looks disheveled. His robes are grimy and frayed, and his face has a tortured look of concentration about it. He acknowledges you with a pained squint. My name's Felix. What do you want? He doesn't really sound unfriendly, so much as he sounds like he's trying to keep from screaming. What's wrong? Felix twitches and yelps. It's the ghosts. Some of the wards failed for some reason. Now there's just a few runes between them and me, and that's not stopping them from getting a head start. They're trying to break my willpower, but I won't let them. By the winds, it's my duty to keep the catacombs, and I won't let them keep me from it. He shudders and winces at the same time, which looks just unpleasant. What are the wards? Felix takes a deep breath before speaking. Well, the cathedral has two types of wards against the undead. First, the entire building is blessed so that spirits and the undead cannot leave. These wards are incredibly strong. However, stronger spirits, such as our angry friends here, could possibly break through this defense if given enough time. Thus, we have a second line of wards created by some of the wisest mages in Hyzo. These machines radiate a suppression field throughout the cathedral, disrupting any unruly spirits. So it looks like one of the machines might be out of power or simply broken. That's what we need you to check. If the machines fail completely, the ghosts will probably escape. I don't want to think about what they'll do before leaving. What is your job here? I tend the catacombs. Mostly it's just sweeping up and setting traps for rats, but now it involves trying to keep ghosts from driving me insane. It's difficult now, and it wasn't before. I envy the others, particularly Paula. All she has to do is tend the gardens, and if I had to pick somewhere safe to be right now, it'd be outside the cathedral. Father Richardson told us to speak with you. Okay, so you know that we've got ghosts, but there's more that you really need to know. The reason we have this problem in the first place is because some of the cathedral's wards have failed. We're not sure which wards need fixing, but I think it's the most recent tomb. A platoon of its soldiers was interred there not long ago. For some reason, the Empire insisted that we install a suppression generator in that one. He hesitantly pulls a small crystal from his robes and hands it to you. To get to the tomb, go out the door all the way down the hall and make 2 rights. Be careful not to rub out the runes in front of the door, because then they'll escape. When you get in there, look for the machine at the back of the tomb and swap out this crystal for the one that's currently sticking out of the top. With any luck, it'll help control the ghosts. Just do it quickly. You should leave now, and hurry. Alright. A lot of brooms and shovels. The second your feet cross this rune, an icy blast of air nearly knocks them out from under you. Clearly the ghosts intend to give you a warm welcome. You can hear voices coming from further down the hallway. None of them sound particularly hostile, but you should be prepared for anything. As you continue up the hall, you start to feel a bit unbalanced, as if something is rooting around in your brains. Whatever it is, it's painful, and you should try to complete your mission before it wrecks your minds. Like most of the ghosts you've seen, this ghost has not kept the shape it had in life. Instead, the vaguely humanoid spirit seems to be contemplating its own grave. Surprisingly, it notices you. What do you want? It asks with a thin, reedy voice. Who were you? The ghost seems to balk at this question. I don't know. I don't know my name. All I know is that I built this, it says, waving an ethereal limb at the chamber. I built it all. They didn't remember me. If they'd remembered me, I'd remember myself. But I'm too weak to find if they've remembered me, so I can't know myself. Why aren't you attacking? Attack? The ghost asks, making the words sound foreign and bizarre. Why would I? The ghost just stops mid-sentence, causing a short and awkward silence. What was I saying? You hear the sound of crying coming from within this chamber. This coffin has no name inscribed on it. Instead, a single word adorns the lid. Beloved. Like most of the ghosts you've seen, this ghost has not kept the shape it had in life. Instead, the vaguely humanoid spirit seems to be slumped over in the corner of the chamber, sobbing loudly. It doesn't appear to be interested in conversation. This coffin's inscription seems to have been worn away by drops of water falling from the ceiling, judging from the small pool of water that is collected on its lid. This coffin's lid bears a brief inscription. Brittany Friel, 487 to 533, loving wife. Okay. Like most ghosts you've seen, this ghost has not kept the shape it held in life. In fact, the ghost is pretty much completely transparent and just barely holds the shape of a humanoid. If it's trying to communicate with you, it's impossible to tell. This coffin's lid bears a brief inscription. Joel Harrison, 498 to 561, devoted father. Okay. That one's... It's getting much harder to think straight. You think you can keep going for a while, but you should definitely try to finish your mission before the pressure becomes too great. Okay, skip the rest. As you approach the door to the tomb Felix told you about, you notice the incredibly intricate glowing runes that surround it. Realizing that you don't really have any choice other than crossing the runes, Fox carefully tries to step across. Regrettably, Fox missteps and scratches out part of the runes. Hopefully it won't matter, but it still feels like a bad start. You're starting to hear voices, just quiet enough that you can't hear what they're saying. In any case, you're not sure that you'd want to know what they're saying. It would definitely be a good idea to either get out of here or complete your mission, and quickly. The second you open the door, a biting cold wind slices through you. Inside, you can see snowflakes blowing around. This is clearly not good. Now that you can see the graves through the swirling snowflakes, you're a little surprised to find that none of the graves are marked. If what Felix said was right, they're soldiers. Can't help but wonder why the Empire would fail to honor their fallen. Not to mention why the soldiers are buried here. How do we get up? The voices are getting louder and more distinct. Most of them speak in incoherent tongues, but a few are saying very, very unpleasant things in languages you can understand. You want to get out of here, but you're not sure you can think straight enough to find your way out anymore. The voices are drowning out your thoughts, and you begin to stumble. You end up on the floor after your legs collapse under you. You start to see blue motes of light around you and a few indistinct shapes at the edge of your vision. Then you black out, alone in the catacombs. Ah, crap. So we are on a timer here. Alright, reloading. At least now we know the situation. Alright, light, please. Alright, speak to you. What's wrong? What are the wards? What's your job here? Told us to speak with you. Okay. This time, we'll just go where we need to. There's the cold. This is the way around we have to take. May these soldiers rest in eternal peace. This obelisk is blank. You can feel the waves of magic being exuded by this machine. It feels unpleasant, but not as unpleasant as the atmosphere everywhere else down here. Near the top of the machine, there's a slot with a crystal in it. If Felix told you correctly, you need to switch the crystal out for the one he gave you. Do you swap the crystals? Yes. Carefully, you pull the crystal out of the machine. Strangely enough, the crystal is burning hot and you nearly drop it. The machine flickers and dims. Fox barely manages to get the new crystal out before... Wow, this is definitely not what you were hoping would happen. You're used to seeing ghosts and shades appear in vague, distorted forms of their living selves. This is new and just a little frightening. One of the ghosts stirs. Mages, disarm! Somehow the ghost blast didn't harm you. However, you soon realize that the crystal Felix gave you has been reduced to a fine powder. Looks like you're going to have to find another way to deal with this. Move out! Well, this is a problem. The ghosts are free of their tomb and they've disappeared to, well, somewhere. And it's still really cold in here. On the other hand, it seems that the oppressive atmosphere that filled the catacombs has lifted, making it possible to hear your thoughts again. However, you also think that you can hear faint voices echoing from somewhere in the catacombs. Perhaps not all of the ghosts have left yet. Right, heal up. Okay, made it out of there. Okay, let's look through here a bit. That's odd. You feel the presence of a ghost, but there's nothing in here. The presence feels weak, which means the ghost is weak. Perhaps it doesn't have the strength to materialize. This coffin's lid bears a brief inscription. Mayor William Kemper, 431-509, aided in the funding of the cathedral and lived to see its spires completed. Died protecting imperial documents from rebels. Hubert Rankin, 599-641, died defending his family from goblins, an incredible father right up to the bitter end. Unlike the soldiers, this ghost has not kept its shape. In fact, the ghost is pretty much completely transparent and just barely holds the shape of a humanoid. If he's trying to communicate with you, it's impossible to tell. Sergeant Henry Woolington, 623-659, served for 20 years, fought in the Battle of Woodsmuir. May he one day rally the troops of heaven like he did on Earth. Battle of Woodsmuir. I remember that name. Unlike the soldiers, this ghost has not kept its shape. Instead, the vaguely humanoid spirit floats around the chamber aimlessly, not really noticing your presence. Mother Melissa Reese, 547-595, devoted priestess of the church, defended Stratton during the Parnosa offensive. Unlike the soldier, this ghost has not kept its shape. At least not nearly as well. The shape is undeniably human, but its features aren't as distinct as the soldier's. You can see vague wisps of what might have once been a robe. Greetings, I am... My name is not important. Who were you? The ghost furrows what might have been a brow once and stares at the ceiling. I'm not sure. I think I used to be a priest, it says, and a few more stray strands of a faded robe flash into being around its indistinct form. That's it. I was a priest. Tell her what's on her tomb. You tell the ghost her name and what the tomb says she did in life. Though there's not much more to say, you can see her form become slightly more substantial as you say it. Mother Reese. I was a priestess. That's it. Thank you. Elric Matthews, 603-712. An inspiring teacher, an exemplary mage, and short-tempered chess player. May his memory live on. Okay. Instead, the vaguely humanoid spirit floats in front of a brazier, muttering strange syllables under its breath. You can't understand a word of it, but it sounds angry. The ghost gives no indication that it cares about your existence. Joel Harrison, devoted father. Brittany Field, loving wife. Why is that ghost out? Okay. That's that ghost. It's not that nobody remembered, it's that, well, that happened. Alright, let's take a look at the others around here, I guess. Maurice Yolen, 641-695. Gone but not forgotten. Okay, can't communicate with us. Jonathan Norris, 584-611. Wanderer for life. May his travels span the earth. Nope, he's stuck here. Xavier Burks, 492-523. His sacrifice was not in vain. Unlike the soldiers, this ghost has not kept its shape. Instead, the vaguely humanoid spirit floats around the chamber aimlessly, gibbering away in a language you cannot understand. Whether it's an ancient tongue or just mad ranting, you cannot understand a word of it. Mullane Althos, 509-571. Bested 3 gremlins in combat before the rest arrived. Again, the mad ranting. Before we go in there, we should probably inform on what just happened. Nearing the steps that lead out of the catacombs, you notice that Felix is absent. You wish he hadn't kept the floor so clean so that you could have at least checked for footprints. Okay, maybe we should check that other room then. Alright, let's look in here. You recognize these runes as containment runes. Their intricacy suggests that something incredibly powerful is either being kept in or out of this room. It might be wise to stay out. Either way, they're fairly easy to step over without rubbing them out. No reason to take any chances. As you step into this chamber, you find a gracefully arched and surprisingly well-lit tomb. The sarcophagus sits atop a raised platform. You're starting to get the feeling that you're being watched, and after seeing those runes, that's not good. This ornately carved sarcophagus is surprisingly easy to open. However, the contents are even more surprising. Treasure. Lots of it. Lots and lots of it. The sarcophagus is practically overflowing with it, ranging from golden coins to goblets to strange crystals. This is almost definitely the treasure that Nathan and Stratton told you about. You could tell him about the treasure or just take it for yourself. As you look at it, the feeling that you're being watched gets more intense. What do? Leave it alone, definitely. Alright, let's get out of here. Yes, ascend. Something doesn't feel right. As you climb the stairs, you start to feel the same chill in the air that filled the catacombs. It's also very, very quiet. You're a little startled to find a guard right behind this door, but it's a safe bet that the guard was startled more by you. He leaps back and clutches his chest before calming himself down. Friends, I need your help. My friend Jack and I were attacked by ghosts when we were guarding the 3rd floor, and they got him. They just came up through the floor and grabbed him, the guard says, verging on hysterics. You calm him down and tell him that you'll help his friend, if only because it will shut him up. The guard turns and scurries away. I'll be outside, he yells over his shoulder. Kitchen's empty. Coat room's empty. Much to your relief, the air feels warmer and cleaner in here than the rest of the cathedral. It's probably due to the presence of Father Richardson. Interestingly enough, it looks like all the priests have taken shelter in here. The irony of a cathedral full of priests hiding from a few angry ghosts is almost too much for you to bear. In any case, you hope that Father Richardson can shed some light on what has happened. Ethan looks just as dirty as before, just a bit more nervous. His broom lies on the ground next to him, and he's busy praying when you approach him. He continues speaking for a few minutes before greeting you again. What do you think of the ghost problem? Well, I've got to admit that I'm a bit frightened right now. I think we'll be safe in here, but if the ghosts break into the sanctuary, then I'm bolting for the exit. Winds help me. I'd just like to know how we got into this mess, really. Consider telling what you know about the ghost, but you decide that Ethan seems worried enough already. You find Elise kneeling in a pew, looking just as serenely hostile as before. She doesn't seem all that shaken up, but then again, you wouldn't expect her to be. Well, what do you have to say? Norbert is still here. He is still doing his level best to ignore your presence. Okay, nothing new there. There's one. Felix sits huddled in a corner, looking just as grimy and disheveled as before. However, his face doesn't show the same degree of concentration, turning his expression into a vacant stare. His voice sounds lower and hollow, and his breathing sounds ragged. What do you want from me now? Are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. I won. The ghosts lost. After you let them escape, they rushed towards me and... I won. I'm still alive. Now get to the point. Why are you bothering me? He begins to shake violently, and he makes a raspy, croaking sound. Just tell me why you're bothering me. Any advice for us? You'll have to disrupt the ghosts. They'll try to keep you from getting there. To the storage attics. And there were definitely mages. They won't let you work on the machine while they're up and moving. Pay most attention to the mages. They'll be able to keep you from operating the machines. They might corrupt the crystals. So hurry. Father Richardson patiently waits for you to speak. I'm afraid the ghosts are loose. What now? I know. I can feel their presence outside of the sanctuary. That is why everyone is here. The energy of the altars shelters us from the ghosts' mental assaults, and I am able to repel some of their energy. It seems that the wards are slowly failing, both those in the stonework of the building itself and the machinery installed by the Empire. What we need you to do is repair them, and Felix can tell you how to go about that. Do be careful, though. The spirits of those soldiers are clearly willing to go to any lengths to escape. Father Richardson said you know how to fix the wards. Felix grunts, and then his neck starts to spasm. After a few painful seconds, he gets himself under control. Yes, I know how to fix this. It seems that the main suppression field generator was weakened. It's not off. Otherwise, the ghost would be out. But the machine needs to be readjusted. So we just need a new control crystal. They take at least a week to craft and several weeks to get out here. Thank the winds that there's an extra or two. They should be up in the storage attic. I just can't remember which attic, so you figure it out. But the machine is at the top of the southern spire. He starts coughing again. I hope you got that. I'm not repeating it. Understood. Go to the attic storage rooms, and then go... You're shocked to find a ghost this close to the sanctuary, but there's one standing facing the small altar in this room. Seems like it hasn't noticed you yet. Whatever the reason, you have a chance to surprise it. And since it looks like the ghost of a priest, surprising it would make disrupting it a lot easier. Do you attack? Wait. You wait for what feels like an eternity. Then the ghost turns and beckons you forward, speaking with a clear, calm voice. Come, friends. My name is Grimsley, and I believe we have much to discuss. Okay. Grimsley, if that is this spirit's real name, stands before the small altar, with a hand incredibly close to its polished stone surface. Logically, if the ghost touches the altar, the holy energy within it should disrupt the spirit. Of course, you're not even certain that you should trust this shade of a priest. After all, you're supposed to be ridding the Cathedral of Ghosts, not fraternizing with them. Grimsley seems to notice these thoughts, and he speaks. What do you wish to know? Who are you? My name is Grimsley, 4th class healer for the 35th Brigade of Commander Garzad's invasion force. You already know the rest of my story, as I was the one who spoke to you in the Catacombs. I am also a priest of the Church of the Winds. Or I suppose I was a priest. Now I expect that the others would hardly give a damn about my soul at this point. You were part of Garzad's invasion. Grimsley sighs and stares at the altar. Yes, I served the Empire in the war. To this day I do not regret the choice, and I still believe that the Empire was right. Garzad himself is a horrible fiend, but the cause we served was a great one. However, I will admit that Avernum has done more than enough to redeem its actions, or with saving the continent of Valorum and all. To that end, I can no longer say that I harbor any hatred of Avernum or Avernites. That is all the politics that I wish to discuss with you. Was there anything else you wanted to know? Why aren't you attacking? Well, to be honest, I differ with my captain in terms of opinions. I refuse to fight my former colleagues, and thus I seek another way out of this cathedral. Preferably one without more bloodshed than we have already endured. What are you doing here? I am trying to pray to the winds. However, I am afraid they cannot hear my prayers, particularly when I cannot touch this altar without being disrupted myself. I just want to commune with the winds again. Maybe, just maybe, if we can escape, then I can do that. Can we do anything to help you? As a matter of fact, yes. We have found the machine that controls the suppression field and the mechanisms that drive it. However, we cannot get close enough to the machine to turn it off because it still emits a field. So we're trying to break through the wards on the building itself. It's taking too long, and sooner or later someone's going to try and disrupt us for good. But nobody else wants to hear me out. The suppression field machine is controlled by a crystal. If I could find one of the crystals and work on it, then I'd be able to corrupt it so that it would neutralize the wards on the building. Then we could simply leave. If you can bring one of these crystals to me and then place it in the field generator, we can avoid significant bloodshed. Huh. Interesting. So, we are either to repair the suppression fields and keep all the spirits trapped here, or corrupt the suppression fields so that the spirits can escape. Now, on the one hand, keeping the spirits here means that any hostile spirits are trapped and are never going to escape and cause problems. But on the other hand, something about these spirits being trapped here, it makes me think that these souls are not being able to move on. That's very curious. So we're going to end up with what is most likely a, what's the term? I can't remember the term. Moral conundrum, or whatever it is. Yes, go up. As you climb higher up into the cathedral, you begin to feel a bit colder, similar to when you were in the catacombs. Thankfully, the oppressive atmosphere isn't as intense as it was down there. It's probably because you're still fairly close to the sanctuary. Here's Brother Silas again. Still nothing from him. So the only choice now, I guess, is to go further up. Which I think we'll do in the next episode. Again, this episode is a bit shorter, but we're about to go higher up and do more things. I think this is a decent pause point. Next episode, we'll do just that. Till then, I'm Chester44, that is Fox, Sheik, Bonnie, and Draco. This has been a Blades of Avernum Let's Play, and I shall see you all next time.